There's a lot of names that you'll, probably recognize. Bella Chonok and players like Exapower. Idis Balance has been in this squad at one point. We maybe are talking a few years ago for sure, but ultimately there's a lot of names that have come through the doors of Nemiga, and it seems like they are getting a little bit better, just a little bit better at picking out the talent. But we are indeed into the game here to see what their current roster looks like and whether they are able to continue moving and continue impressing. All the same, Betera on this T side, only a little bit of utility brought up for them now.
Alrighty, interesting. Let's take a look and see. Got a smoke, which has just been used, and a Molotov, which backed right into towards window. There's damage being heard there at the very least, so that's something potentially to work on. We're trying to barrel in here, but it's not going to work out well as Khan gets that first. Khan is also somebody who has a couple of nice moments up his sleeves too, but this still could be a little awkward. Leah and Khan both going to get caught here, so that will change things immediately.
Yeah, looking very good for Betera.
Who is Goblin Slayer?
Oh,
who is Goblin Slayer?
Yeah, there's a few names out there. There's a few names in the kill feed, I think. Indeed, you got to try and catch it on the HUD rather than on the feed, which I think is a little bit like, as a commentator, we do rely a bit on the feed for like those cross map kills and stuff like that.
Who is it? Take your guesses. I'm going Supra.
I reckon it could be Supra. Yeah, jumping in. He seems like a bit of a funny guy. To be fair,
what a name, Goblin Slayer. He's also got like the classic, like the numbers, sort of like like a 4 for an A and stuff. It's based.
I feel like you just go for Goblin Slayer as your user, though.
Yeah.
Why have anything else? It feels like Goblin Slayer's just banging by itself.
Yeah, it's like it's so funny. It's great. You know what I mean? It's I kind of love it. But either way, for now, not the start. Not this. Nemiga side would have wanted. It started okay. Khan gets that first, and it just sort of slightly capitulates around that. Owner does so well.
Cynic's trained in here. Seems to be the first point of the attack. The info gatherer, the scout, maybe, on the Mac 10. He will spot out the first, and now I think going to get a bit more confidence to roll forwards, especially once this smoke goes down. They do have members all over the map at the moment on the Betera side, just gathering info. I think it should be fine, though, right? They're against the full eco, even though they are walking into the stack, because they're weary of that, playing it safe. They're all good. It is actually Super as well that's Goblin Slayer, by the way, just for any...
I knew it.
Goblin Slayer watchers.
I knew it.
That's the guy. Well, he's a little older.
Yeah.
He's a little funnier, I would imagine. I'm sure it's one of those things when you're like a young up-and-coming player, you're a little bit like, oh, I don't know if I want to, make my Steam name something that's even slightly funny. They might not take me seriously or whatever.
Yeah.
But Super's been around long enough. He's cool.
He's like, I don't care. I'm a standard anyway. I may as well have a little bit of fun with this. 2-0 stop for Betera. But of course, that was a low buy, so Nemiga can buy it back in no bother. We've got the M4s out and a fair decent amount of util as well. Only thing to keep an eye out for, there's only one kit in play. That's why Xanta. This is risky, but it will work out. Lovely work from Xanta. Gets his kill, and he's stick around and see if anything more behind it, but it maybe sticks around just a little too long.
I'm not really making any moves at the moment. Still over in T-spawn, of course. Trying to go for the mid control here on the Nemiga side, and there is that Mass Val trapped at the top end. Molotov will force him out. Doesn't touch him, actually, and the smoke goes down nicely. So, sort of works out. He gets himself a little contact flash, and he finds 2 kills. Sets up a third. That's really well responded there by the T side, I have to say. Maybe just baiting that fight in. They know what's up. They know what the look is. And unfortunately, it just does not quite work out for Nemiga, despite them being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, and especially with the right start as well. And that's where you look back at those sort of rounds and look back at, in particular for Xanta, when he sticks around just a little sort of too long. It's tough. So, Nemiga, it's one of those rounds that in hindsight you look back and say, if I just do one thing a little different, if Xanta gets that kill, falls away, or if, especially if he falls away and then groups up, you can play trades there and you're doing all right, but not to be. Alright. He's bank round as Masfar trying to go very quickly in. Risky Bob's Deagle will get off for one, but it's Supra or Goblin Slayer for a double. Maybe more, actually, because he's trying to hunt down Xanta. He knows where he is, stuck in towards jungle. There's nothing he can do. Pretty lovely stuff so far.
Yeah, I mean, looking very, very good, right? Maybe this is what you would expect out from their own map pick, right? The Mirage seems to be something that they enjoy quite readily, but I think it's an interesting conversation for me around Betera as a team and the fact that they are just sort of playing these basic maps, individually based maps, and keeping it simple. Very, very simple indeed. Contact flashes, react to what's going on around you. There's nothing too deep to this team at the moment. And they are one of these squads as well that sort of focus in on ECL and the practice. So I feel like they're just sort of more of a pugging squad, as it were, rather than sort of taking anything in terms of getting those loads of officials under your belt that you see some of the teams doing. They seem to be focusing in a little bit more on particular tournaments.
All right, well, here we go. Back underway. Full start for Betera. Nothing life for them. They'll buy back in for Nemiga. This one has to stick. If it doesn't, that's where things start to get a little worrying. But, I mean, so far, Owner and Supra, two of the more experienced members on this team as well, actually doing a lot of the heavy lifting and looking, you know, just uber confident. They're just flying into fights. They back themselves in. Look at this. Just a contacts play out towards A. I love it. It's different, but it actually this time does end up working out. Masval does a lot of heavy lifting, though. He gets 2.
Nice finds. The rest of the team as well, moving in behind him here to just sort of confirm the fact. And it is starting to get kind of silly now, you know, how one-sided some of these moments are going. But as I've said, just some very, very nice, simple tactical moves coming in from Betera, and they can lean on those individuals, and it's, yeah, looking very good. Owner and Masval leading the way.
This is pretty wild. So far, Nemiga, who I think without a doubt would kind of come in as the favourites in towards this game, not playing like the favourites at the very least. And when you find yourself 5-0 down, understandable why we go in towards this tactical pause. Tough predicament for them. I think without a doubt, you're going to look at it on the other side and say for this Betera side, I don't know exactly what their sort of expectations are really, you know, in this tournament and in this matchup specifically. You know, Nemiga are a very tough opponent with a lot of good experience, and you're playing with stand-in. So realistically, what are you actually expecting coming in towards a game like this? And well, so far, they're exceeding whatever those expectations were. When you're 5-0 up against Nemiga, especially on the T side, no one's complaining.
Well, timeout taken. Of course, a small kind of mental reset here with that timeout and now a soft eco. So we'll see what Nemiga have got in store. So far, the round starts off pretty well, actually. Xanta is slipping in between smokes. You know that he's around, and those bullets are close. Eventually, will go down, but the man advantage stays with Nemiga. Briefly, we'll see whether they can hold on to it, of course. AK retrieved here. Awkward angles and awkward fights, and of course, up against those AKs, it's always going to be 10 times harder. They try their best to stay in it. It's just going to be down to Khan. He brings it low, but it is the weaponry that lets them down there. Betera hitting 6 in a row.
Wow. I mean, I'm sort of slightly gobsmacked by what we're seeing. There is no contest in this game at the moment, and a second tactical timeout going to be used there by Nemiga as they go back into a reinvestment. And again, it's, you know, the previous 2 were must win. This one is past that point. It's a wild situation that we're in. Nemiga are just not playing to any sort of a level that we'd expect out for them. They are seriously struggling. Let's see maybe whether things can kind of pick up off the back of this tac pause. As the reinvestment comes back through, we still are looking actually at some of these sort of youngsters, obviously have a lot of talent. Xanta and Zwei are kind of the 2 in particular for me. And we're not really seeing enough out of anything. Both of them sitting on 1 kill at the moment. Leah yet to get on the board. The best they've got is Risky Bob with 3. I mean, it's not exactly the best of numbers to fall back on. Pretty simple flashes out towards A. Gonna try to send one out, and it will work. Beautiful. Oh, they gets the opener.
Continues here for Betera. We were expecting maybe slightly better things out from Nemiga, but, you know, just sending individuals again, rolling in. Fast utility. Only a minute in the round, according to Betera here, as they are swarming over this A-bomb site. Should be solidified. Oh, he needed one more. Risky Bob. He needed one more for us to get excited. In the end, it's just sort of pick up kills, bit of damage to the already ballooning economy. And it will be a save here from Khan, so Betera continue their reign of terror.
Is this actually ever going to stop? It's such a weird spot that we're in where Betera are not having to break a sweat at all to find these rounds. They are playing this actually kind of like an FPL pug, but it's working. And that for me is not having to break a sweat at all to find these rounds. They are playing this actually kind of like an FPL pug, but it's working. And that for me is Khan. And he will be actually be given the luxury of this at the very least. Nobody's going hunting just yet. And even if they were, I don't think they'd have enough time. So the orb stays afloat. Buying around it, however, then once again becomes actually pretty difficult. We're talking about where it's Risky Bob is the richest on 1.3k. So he can get himself a rifle. And the rest of the team have to dip in towards MP9s and armor if they want a bit of util, and that's where you start to take a couple of hits. We see teams force around this sort of buy, though. Just because Khan can drop over one, because of his say they do P, and we do have enough money to facilitate not the most premium rifles, but like we said, the MP9s, the FAMASs can come through if they want those full belts. And that is, to some level, what we're getting. It's not a full investment, half buy, around the sort, double MP9 D-gun to 5.7. It's not great, but sometimes these sort of rounds do have a couple of tricks up their sleeve and get converted.
Ooh, I like this. Aggressive down the ramp. Just try and see what they can get away with, and of course there's nobody here, so the world now their oyster. They could do an awful lot with this kind of a move. Just going to send that MP9 investigating. There is some movement back as Tenzi double-checking the situation. Will find Zvi on his way to get the bomb. So that was kind of Nemiga's only positive thing going on this round, it feels like, and it's just been completely blindsided.
Okay. Super. Looks like he's going to be sent out towards mid here. So was the smoke being thrown there? I'm pretty sure. It's actually going over towards A. And there will be a bit of presence over towards this B-side apartment. Dad's going to play up close. I like this with the MP9. It could just work out. He's got the right idea of where Masfal is. It's just whether he can get him when that smoke fades, or does he actually want to just try and fall away?
Oh, the MP9 nearly able to capitalize, but not quite. Lots of damage has been done to the Betera boys here. Just trying to keep it together. Cynics with 2 keen, make it 3 frags. He has just saved the round, I think, all by himself. Lear's known about nades raining on in. Actually not doing an awful lot of damage. Cynics will be cut off from the 4K. The bomb's gone down, so Lear's got to make the move. Again, it's not totally out of the question. Tenzi has to be very, very careful not to go down needlessly here. Smoke comes in to deny some information away. There's still plenty of time for Lear to work with. Super has got the entrances. Watch, the spam is good, and on 6 HP, Lear does not want anything to do with it now. But once again, Nemiga knocking on the door with these lower buys.
It's true. They're really getting close, which it feels like it gives you at least a little bit of hope. It's just the fact that we're 8-0 down. So then that's where like kind of the hope maybe slightly gets eradicated, ever so, you know, just a tad. And then you're like, okay, I'm starting to believe we've got down to 1 versus 2 on a low buy. There might be something here. However, we're 8-0 down, and this is already a completely lost half, and actually maybe even a lost map. So, not a good spot. Nemiga are going to call for their 3rd and final timeout. They get one more, they can get towards overtime, but overtime feels like a real pipe dream at the moment.
Yes, that is true. I think they're just starting with the simple stuff. Let's get 1 round, boys.
Yeah.
Let's see about that, you know. Let's just not get totally embarrassed here. Because something is, you know, seriously wrong in the Nemiga camp. Yeah, we can talk about it being their opponent's map pick and all that sort of stuff, but it comes to a certain point where you do have to look a bit internally and be like, right, well, we should still be able to put rounds on Mirage, bro. Like, it's the oldest map sat in the pool. So yeah, really feels a bit weird. And then they've gone for the Inferno pick next, if you want to talk about it like that, which you may argue's not their safest map necessarily. So I think there are a few red flags, let's say, about where the veto is at, but also just the performance in general.
Oh. Okay. All right. Risky Bob and calm with this double up setup. Finding a killer piece, and the rifle's finally under a bit of pressure. Go for that more simplistic contact play. Lear is so unlucky not to get a kill there. So much damage done towards Masval, but it's just not enough.
If this goes south for Nemiga, I think that we may well be looking at a pretty swift affair on map 1. Don't know how your mental would recover. I was preparing a bit of a line, you know, what do you do when it's all going wrong? Get the double AWPs out, especially on Mirage. For any OGs out there, this, of course, I think was the map that it was revolutionized on, the idea of the double AWP setup. Khan up close, playing it well, able to reset the bolt. Cynic's trying to bait a shot out here. Khan goes digging a little too deep, so back down to the 2 versus 2. Meanwhile, Tenzi, is he going to be expected? The answer is no. And suddenly, Betera have pulled this one back from the jaws of defeat. It is all on Xanta, having a rough game. He's got a clutch versus 2.
Yeah, how is this round sort of flipped on its head a little bit? It feels like I should have no right to do so, but Xanta's got a lot of heavy lifting to do and a lot of angles to clear in not a lot of time. So he's moving his way forward. Thankfully, he has a kit. We got a molly, flash, and a nade. He would love a smoke right about now. He knows where one is. He dinks him as well. The nade will bank over, but it does not make a difference. The Palace player sees him off. 9-0. Well, I think it goes without saying, surely this map is more or less done and dusted. This should be completely unrecoverable.
Yeah, 5 versus 3 to kick things off, and a really nice look for Nemiga. And they let it slip, so pretty troublesome stuff, I think it is safe to say. That's putting it lightly. We don't really know what's going on here now. Econ questions getting out of hand as well. Khan's moved on to the M4, potentially a tilt buy, you could argue. If you were close, if you were ahead, these types of buys are cool, but he's obviously got a game plan for it. Quick into the apartments, hope to net the first kill. I think Masval knows what's up, knows that they're after him, and he just has to be a bit careful not to get overzealous. Xanta misses out on an opportunity to find Cynics. Lear will land his. So numbers-wise, we're all good, but once again, it is this weaponry question, and I think Betera are going to be acutely aware of the fact that things have not gone well for them in the low buys. They have been winning them, but it's been the closer rounds for sure, and therefore you can feel they're a little more disciplined, a bit stricter with themselves.
If they went A there as well, when they were fighting in towards short, they would have had a really good chance of just catching Zwei sort of on his own. They will know there's another B player. Now they definitely know, just because he was boosted up in towards short. 5-7 swing and a miss. And I think we probably just keep out of the M4 here, especially with Khan in his questionable investment towards the M4. You know, it's either a tilt buy, like you mentioned, or it's one of those where it's like, we've got nothing to lose here. Let's just try and gamble and hope that an M4 and a 5-7 can sort of combine in the old tag him and bag him sort of strategy. Either way, 10-0 is most definitely not what I was expecting to start off in towards today. If it was ever going to be a 10-0, you would expect it to be towards Nemiga, who are, as we know, a very solid side. But that is not the case here.
Yeah, this is their tournament, it feels like. You know, they played very, very well last season. They have slowly been improving over maybe the past 18 months or so. They took a hit as Flammus leaves, but it feels like that kind of gap, at least statistically, was filled pretty quickly. So we're not really sure what the excuses would be for this particular matchup. Being caught on a bad day is what you would hope, and maybe caught on a bad map if you are really in that Nemiga camp. This one's not working out. Bit of an adjustment to playing against Betera. There's not much structure to the way that they're playing necessarily, and what is there, as we've said, it's very, very basic sort of stuff. That is to be expected, I think, A, by their approach, and B, just by the fact that they're, you know, not a full roster, playing with stand-ins. Even Elian, who's listed on HLTV, is not here, and all this sort of stuff, right? So very, very difficult team to maybe know what you're going to be up against. Again, that being said, with the likes of Azvai, who's actually very quiet here, you know, our player to watch.
Yeah.
Not really for the right reasons at the moment, but you've also got Khan, you've also got Leah. These feel like players that should just be able to keep a watch on the crosshair and, you know, let the muscle memory do the work.
Santa, bomb shot, drops a smoke, and a flashbang over in towards window, just to try and slow them down, but there's nothing to slow down. Betera aren't committing to a fight here. It will be super with the AWP, does well. Another behind as well from Owner. Brilliant work, but Khan finds two in quick succession. We've got a round here. Xanta's going to get overlooked, at least for that first engagement, but he just didn't even expect another one towards the site. Bomb goes down, and Cynics, I kind of like this. Boost it up, and he'll be able to hold door as well. Now it's smoked. Khan's going to go through this. It makes his life awkward. I don't know about that peak. I definitely don't know about that peak coming through. Might still be a chance. Cynics into us was the 1v1, but he gets head ripped off. Finally, a round to talk about for Nemiga. Better late than never, but it is very late indeed.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can see as well Betera sort of getting the better of themselves, really, once the pressure is on, once they maybe need to relax and take a moment. They just don't quite know how to do so. Like you said, that peak that came in from Tenzi, maybe too aggressive, too confident. And I think he will know that. It's not the end of the world when you're 10-0 up, I guess. But all the same, they do get caught in themselves a little. So just got to be weary of that. Particularly, I think at this point, we're talking more for Inferno than we are Mirage at the moment. But Nemiga, once they get a full taste of how to beat you, I think there could be a few rounds where those overzealous plays let you down.
Yeah, I agree. Bit of a wake-up call for Betera. Just let's not try and get too audacious here. Final round of the half. I think even 10-2 feels like a foregone conclusion of how this map is going to end, but you never know. You never know. I've seen some weird and wonderful resurgences at times, so I'm not going to completely discount them just yet. Especially if they get a second. Who knows? Second, then maybe a pistol, forced by behind to get the first gun round. We're talking about a much smaller gap to work with.
Kind of a slower roll here from Betera. We've not seen them wind the clock down all that much. Tenzi takes some flames to the toes. But he does have a pretty good position in ladder. It's more of an A-wrap here. Seems like just under the radar is Vi. Leah as well maybe spotted out. Another in Palace, though, is problematic, of course. A broken spray down costs the lead here for Betera. I liked the idea. They've obviously got the space on the bomb site to get the plant in, but just a couple of mechanical moments here going against them. Cynics, he's been nothing but great, and now leaves it all on Owner. Straight onto the bomb they go. Missed shot will confirm the location. It's a kit on the bomb as well, so surely no way of stopping him. Nemiga get two in a row to close things out, but still a pretty egregious half. All three timeouts used could not make it work. We'll see if they can recover moving into the second half.
Tied to the life I chose. Stay through the night, another day, another time. Race against time. I couldn't just lay by and wonder what I could have made mine. I'm closing on the moment, no one's gonna hold me down.
I pack my suitcase, headed out the door. I keep my shoes laced. 2,000 miles away from home. A couple dollars in my pocket, never stopped the boy before. I load my bags and hit the road.
lounge. In the lights, then you were coming out. No one can save you now. Unbreakable, unbeatable, undefeatable. I'm invincible. Unbreakable, unbeatable, undefeatable. I'm invincible. I'm bulletproof, don't ever lose. Put the evil in the devil and I'm let it loose. I'm an earthquake, make your bones shake. There's no question I'm the king, I always dominate. A force to be reckoned with, better remember it. Look at what I can do, walking all over you. Incredible, it's criminal. I never lose, I'm bulletproof. Best in the game, they all know my name. Can't run now, it's too late. Got winning in my blood, in my DNA. It's destiny, it's fate. Unbreakable, unbeatable, undefeatable. I'm invincible. Unbreakable, unbeatable, undefeatable.
May well be a swift finish to Mirage here. We are, of course, about to find out. Nemiga, usually say like picking up steam or whatever. Maybe just picking up like lukewarm water towards the very end. It's a little bit of something. Maybe if they get the pistol here, the gap closes even more, but it just feels Betera have way too many rounds to work with.
Yeah, I really don't know how this Nemiga side get back into. I mean, even if, like I said earlier, we were talking about the pistol round being found, a force buy behind the first gun round. Even then, they've still got a huge deficit to work with. It's like, what do you actually do? So, this T-side round's got to go well, and so far, so good. So good indeed. Masval just caught a little bit of sleep in there in towards Get Right.
Yeah, maybe ever so slightly. Bomb goes down. Julies are out, but they were very ready for that fight. Owner and Super then to do it all. I think they will have been fully heard here as they roll on through the market. Just try and land these shots, man. Kind of the Betera way, it would seem. None of them landing in the end, unfortunately. And here we are. Nemiga will give themselves some practice, some consolation rounds moving forwards into Inferno. As we talked about, Betera, very different style. Took Nemiga a while to get it figured out, but maybe now they might get some momentum.
Yeah, exactly. There's a start. And an absolute necessity, to say the least, but it really feels like when it came towards those gun rounds, Nemiga, they just felt like there was a bit of a mental block there of what was going wrong, and trying to pull this back, it's such a difficult process for them. So kind of what you touched on earlier, the way you got to approach this is just one round at a time. You cannot think long term. You've just got to hope that you can build up a little bit of stability and a bit of consistency, but by only thinking in the very, very micro sense of the game that's at hand here. This round should be pretty simple, though. No buy from Betera. They're not in a rush to close this one out just yet.
Could get a kill. Lear's going to walk straight into this.
Oh,
Yep.
all right.
Goes straight down. It's pretty quick. You have to be weary. They're all sort of gagging for that MAC-10. Xanta cleans up, but he will get sideswiped. Maybe that was the actual bait, is Owner on the return frags. Gets his hands onto an AK, lost his teammate, so going to get the hell out of dodge. Nemiga, of course, will take it, but you're happy with the couple of kills there? You're certainly happy with an AK if it makes it out. They are soft hunting him, but yeah, it would be nice to have it into the next round. Zvi's here quite quick. He's been heard. So Owner's just staying on the move, trying to dodge the players as best he can. And I think he may well get away with it.
Oh, he does.
Yeah, it looks that way. Oh, wait. Nope. Can't.
Oh,
the A punch.
Don't
It's
go
not
back.
enough.
Don't go backstairs. Don't do it.
Nah, but he's close to the bomb now is the problem.
Oh, no. He went back. He went back. What a shame. I think he was probably dead anyway. Like you said, he was going back towards the bomb, but he was so low that he actually couldn't afford to do so. I don't think there's anywhere he could have escaped to. 10-4. But, of course, that was a nothing round. So actually getting 3 kills out of that, you're pretty happy. 3 kills in what was a completely non-existent investment coming through. No one is too upset at all. So let's see. Betera back into the buy. We got M4s across the board. Let's see what happens here.
Well, indeed. Mid control comes round from Nemiga. There's not really all that much presence from the CT side at this point. Doubled up in connector, just sort of holding the extremities. No money for an AWP, I suppose, but then what's really the point in putting a lot of pressure into window when it's always smoked off? Nemiga looking good here as they find two to open up. Tenzi somehow staying alive, just looking to try and find one player, but he can't. He thought maybe they were all on the reload once the spraying stopped. Not quite the case. Supra now following up. He's looking for a frag through the smoke. He's going to lose himself, and Xanta spins around to close it out. So a mid-collapse, I think, there, rather than a mid-crunch from Betera. And Nemiga looking good in the early stages.
Are we back? Are we potentially back? It might be there. Maybe. At least for now, it feels like there's something brewing a little bit. Nemiga look considerably more confident. And it might just be a world. Back in towards that low by 1 MP9. Which, in all fairness, can be quite scary. But I feel like it shouldn't be. MP9 is getting pretty aggro here. It feels like it wants to fight in towards mid. I don't know if this is the right call. They're tapping through and they're getting mighty close, but they're just not connecting. Now they are.
All they're sort of looking for, isn't it, really, to just follow up. Cynics does go down on his way out there, I think. So, again, a bit of an idea. They were maybe hoping for some faster movement in towards middle. Not quite the case. Still a stack around here, so Nemiga have got to be careful. And they know it. Plenty of time to play with. In comes the push as they start moving out. Nicely thought out by Betera there to just catch the straggler at the end. That will be an AK picked up. Massfile, meanwhile, on the Deagle's got a nasty angle here. He's joined by Owner. I think they're boosted on top of each other. Really, really nice setup there to bring it down to just 2. Of course, now this AK becomes even more problematic. Super has made his way in, made some noise as well. He's just about slipped the net there for that frag. It's all on Khan quickly into the one-on-one. Tenzi again has been boosted up. He's not quite fast enough as the drop comes down. Khan's got to pick up this bomb, get the plant in, but of course win the clutch, and they're just looking to fight each other, not waiting around at all. Swings all over the place from these two players. Molotov comes in, and Khan has played it absolutely perfectly.
Let's go. Bomb goes down, and a little bit of extra money in the pocket too. So, 4 rounds. I don't know. Scriven, are you starting to believe? I'm kind of starting to believe a bit.
Getting there. Getting there. Maybe this rifle round, I think, will, but we've seen a good couple of moments there from Nemiga. They've obviously won some rifle rounds, then they win out that clutch, so I think that they're back in it, feeling a bit more confident on the T side.
This is a Betera side who are so strong on the T side because they're the ones who sort of set the tempo and fight and want to be the ones kind of, just sort of playing it like a pug. But on the flip side, they're falling flat. No, they're not. No, they're not. What just happened there? How we just lined up Connor, Risky Bob. I'm going to assume they were blind by the fact that they were running into a wall, but, you don't always want to make assumptions. I am perplexed as to what they were doing.
Yeah, and that may well have just cost them their comeback momentum. Not sure that they're going to clutch this one out. Not really in prime position to do so. Supra, okay, I was unsure whether he was pushing or turning away from a flash. He's just decided to play it safe. Don't want to give any chances away. That's a messy one, but Owner gets it. Just Leah then. They've spotted the bomb, so they will swarm like vultures here over that dead carcass, and it's just all on Leah to probably save. Honestly, I don't really see him getting anything done.
Yeah, I mean, really, what can you do here? Leah, keep on what he's got. They do have money. We can buy back in, but not exactly consistently. If Betera get the next round, that's it. Money will be shot for the Nemiga side. Unless they get a bomb plan out, but of course, with a round like that, it doesn't instill confidence in you. Where are we going here, Lear? I'm worried that he might want to wrap in towards CT. Please don't. Because that's when he loses his life to Tenzi. Looks like it'll be okay. So the final 5 seconds of Counter-Strike trickle down. And a good way to respond for this Betera side. And on the flip side too as well, something that obviously we sort of saw with that first half is that Nemiga used all 3 of their attack timeouts. So if things do go south, i.e. like now or in towards the next round as well, there is nothing they can do to stop it, to slow it down. They've just got to hope that for some reason Betera take their foot off the gas when they hit 12, which granted some teams do, but either way, it's a weird spot that we're in at the moment.
This is where you'd pull it out, though, isn't it? Right? If Nemiga have got anything in the back pocket,
Look at the buy.
any sneaky little rounds that are a bit more 20-30% success rate.
Yeah, I mean when you got a Mac 10 Galil and a Skull, you may as well take a bit of a gamble, right? I mean, like, what have we actually got to lose now? You're 11-6 down with your money shot and a bad buy. Just take a risk. Like, this is the type of round where you'd actually see some teams be like, yeah, sure, should we just gamble stack a little bit?
Yeah, maybe. It's playing a bit more conventionally, though, to be honest with you. And yeah, that's straight into the hands of Betera. Nothing going right for Nemiga right now. They are getting picked apart. Almost a full team effort here from the Betera boys, at least the A boys. They've had no real trouble. Nice little double stack there as well to close it out. 12 secured. And Nemiga have lost all of that energy they had for just a handful of rounds. Just a little taste of it, and it has petered out quite quickly.
Yeah. Again, that's one of those rounds where you look back at it and just say, with that sort of buy, would it have just been better just kind of roll out as a 5? They kind of went for that traditional split, as you kind of sort of touched on a bit, and it just gets pulled apart quite simply. So 12-6, Betera on the brink of taking map number 1 in a very surprising fashion. It will be just pistols brought to the table to potentially see this final round of play out. And what a fall from grace for Nemiga, a side who were starting to knock at the door of Tier 1 a little bit, at least getting invites to those sort of tournaments, and now, of course, unfortunately find themselves being beaten by a team with two standards. I mean, what can you do? That is sort of the Tier 2, really.
Masval. Oh, difficult spray down, but he's in a good position. He's got the backup as well, of course, from Owner. Wow. Oh, my goodness. Wow. Masval, crispy way for him to finish it off. We talked up the individuals of Nemiga quite a bit, but it has been all about Betera here. Owner, Masval, Cynics in particular, I think in that first half was really finding some beautiful entry moments, and he will close the game out nicely as well. 13-6. It is somewhat surprising. Nemiga just could not really get going, as we talked about, those handful of rounds, and maybe even then that's a little generous for them. So super one-sided stuff.
Yeah, there was just a lack of
behind them, right? Yeah, it does put you in a pretty difficult spot quite quickly into your ECL run.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll be getting on the way in just a moment and get this sort of show on the road. I mean, it is going to be, basically a map of a lot of questions for us just because of what we've just seen. But, credit where it's due. I was quite impressed by Betera. They just looked quite free-flowing, quite loose, which isn't always great on the CT side, I will say, but we shall see. It is going to be Nemiga starting on the CT side, so Betera get that advantage once again. T-side is where they did all of their best work. That 10-2 half they put up was pretty astounding, that is for sure. Let's see if Nemiga can fix their CT woes that just couldn't deal with essentially the raw pace and the pugginess of this side. Oh, nice start.
Oh, nice start indeed. We'll see. Oh, out yet. They try and reface in. Khan, unfortunately, does not find the same kind of success, and Betera playing to their strengths of the unpredictability, right? They will very quickly roll back towards this B-bomb site, baiting rotations, leaving a player in the form of Supra to be a bit annoying. Smoke comes down, however. This is where it gets interesting. Supra is in prime position. in, but a little unsure, checking a few too many angles, not quite committed to the solid idea. Meanwhile, Xanta just spotting things out here on the Julies, takes a bullet in his own brain. I thought he maybe had landed a shot himself. Not quite. Zwei hidden away, as he definitely has to be now in the pit. Very, very low indeed. They're not looking at him. He can't quite secure it. Still, numbers not looking too bad. Maybe concede the bomb plant here if they have to. Tenzi pushing forwards all alone, trying to find heads. Spins round to find one, but there's just too many to deal with. And Nemiga get the pistol.
Okay, that's a good way to start things off. That's a good way to maybe just shrug off some of the potential worries that we had brewing within the side. Oh, it's a weird spot, though, I still feel. At the very least, for Betera, I kind of just love and respect they're just still playing this crazy loose style of play. It is actually like watching an FPL stack. Every now and again, it's quite funny to tune in to some of these guys who stream FPL and just see how loose it is at the kind of the top level, because they kind of just rely on the mechanics. Calling seems like it's quite loose, but also to a degree, this is probably what you'd expect. You know, you got Height and Super standing in for this side. How much time have they actually had to play with this team? Who knows?
Leah.
That's not good.
Right place, right time.
All right.
Money-making machine. Super on the Deeg chimes in, but I think that's going to be the round pretty much over.
Yeah, you know what I was saying about how much time they had to work together? That's pretty evident to me that the time is minimal. Because
yes.
How's no one clearing Cubby when there's a deep smoke in towards Banana? That is the number one thing you've got to be careful of. But it just gets overlooked. So this round's done. The force buy amounts to nothing, and it will be a 2 and then probably a 3-0 start for Nemiga, which is already better than their CT side on a Mirage. So I'm happier already.
Yeah, I'm sure they are as well. Fresh slate and kind of no better place for it than Inferno, it feels like, right? Just completely forget about the first map and play. I think, although Mirage, yeah, is one of your older ones and it is the puggier map and all this sort of stuff, everybody knows how to play it from, face it, 5 upwards, it feels like. Inferno is more of the team-based standard. So this is where Nemiga may well be able to show Betera what they're about, right? And play a bit more of that structured Counter-Strike.
Well, this is where, for Betera, this round is a little bit of a throwaway for them. Just keep hold of what we've got. Don't overly invest in here. We're seeing a couple of Deagles be brought to the table, but yeah, nothing too drastic. I'm hoping Cynics is enough, but he should be fine to buy in towards the next worst case scenario. Galil armor, bit of util. He'll be chilling. But let's see. 2-0. I'm probably going to be 3-0 at the moment. And a good opportunity as well for Khan and Leah to farm some cash. I stand corrected. Khan is down to an 8 stack.
Could be nice. See if they can get a little bit more. Keep that damage high. Still don't expect them to win this round from here, but money is, of course, paramount, especially on that CT side. It can get away from you pretty quickly. The stronger weapons coming into play. Risky Bob. And a great read here. He knows what they're about, and he is really playing with his food at the moment. Keeps these kills coming on in. He's bailed out by Lear. I felt like, yeah, he would have gone down to Masval, running out of ammo, etc. It's a nice find by Owner on 1 HP to give credit where it is due, but the round itself is indeed going to be over. So Nemiga, momentum good, money decent. They're going to go for an AWP here as well. Betera have got to get themselves in quickly. Yeah,
at the moment, we're not seeing that same level from Betera. Not exactly in terms of the mechanics. They don't look as crisp as we're, sort of used to, I guess, for them. All right. This is where they've got to kickstart this T-side. Coming towards this one, flying. And see if we can pick up the pace once again. And just put that pressure on. I like the little gimmicks, like the nade stacks, for example. These sort of things do make a pretty big difference. Just peppering up this CT side. This time, going to play it just a tad bit slower.
Still moving with a bit of pace, though, as the peak comes in from Tensi. He's finished through that smoke. 1-for-1 is kind of decent. I feel like, gathers a fair amount of information that it's like, okay, they've got one guy here with the rifle that I killed. They've got an AWP forward face. It's probably another, so it's going to be pretty hard to crack into A. Therefore, they're opting for the B play, the burst of the smoke. Works pretty well for them. Lear gets caught completely off guard. Goes down maybe a bit too easily. Supra is once again in the apartments. This time, he finds success and playing it perfectly. Yeah, fantastic lurk there. Gets the kill, drops back. Doesn't have to give his life away. They know they've got to think about him, potentially deal with him if they want to be taking this round. And because of that, they call off any kind of hope. And this retake, Supra comes in for the peak, still wins the fight. So Xanta might have the brains, but it's all about aim from time to time.
Did see, you know, he saw a little goblin under the bridge there, and he did slay him. So, living up to the name.
Yes.
Not a Supra, but can't. Staying alive for him would be amazing. He is being swarmed here, though, so best of luck indeed as he just gets owned by Owner. And no up saved. That is what Betera needed. A round one, comfortably, 3 staying alive. They are very, very happy in terms of that sort of response. The only thing now we need to just see a little bit of consistency. If we can get a back-to-back round here, you put Nemiga in financial woes, you put a lot of pressure on them early, you make them start to sort of doubt themselves once again, and that's where potentially we can start moving as a side to open that door up in the conversation about the 2-0, which is, you know, still very much in the cards.
Early nades raining on in. Again, Betera wanting to go for the aggression. Oh, that's lovely from Tenzi. Knows that there's likely to be a nade. Goodness, can't get away. Has to stay put and, you know, Zwei maybe not quite on board with that Molotov. Doesn't spam through, doesn't figure that one out. Maybe, you know, you don't know that he's going to be low. He could have run away. But all the same, that's a really nice find from Tenzi, I have to say.
I like the call straight off the back of, you know, you get yourself a kill and you just go for a freeze immediately. See how Nemiga respond, and especially with, you know, a bit of damage being dealt towards Mass Valentez, you actually just don't want to risk it in any sort of a vein. Let's just play things a little bit. Karma Collector once again. Looks like we're going to go for that B hit 1-4th, and there is only an MP9 here. It looks like Xanta's tempted to rotate over, but unless he goes soon, he might actually be a little late. But then again, it might also not commit either. The bomb is in towards Banana, sure, but there's actually 3 players that are angling towards A. Wait, we're not pushing this, are we? Yeah, we are. I love it.
All right, it's a little wacky.
What's going on here?
A little wacky. Only one spotted. I don't know. This is difficult. He's so far back as well. You feel like maybe you give B a bit of a look, but they just don't really have time. They're committed to the idea. Quick trade out on the site. It's all about the player in mini pit, though, who's completely unseen. He will now reveal himself, but Xanta has played it very, very well to keep the attention on him. Hardly any time to get this going. The bomb's down on the site, and that will be that. Yeah, that will be that. Really well played by the A players there.
Why did we go A? That's what I don't really get. You've pop flashed someone in towards B through a smoke. The bomb is still sort of lurking around mid at this point. It wasn't committed in towards A. And then the B player goes through the smoke in CT that they threw, dies sort of for no reason, and then they commit towards A anyway. I don't know, that felt like a very strange move for me from Betera. That's what I felt. It didn't really make too much sense, if I'm being completely honest. So, Nemiga gifted one back and gifted a bit of a lifeline as well, because the money was on the brink there. Betera find a back-to-back round, and they are loving live. Xanta made a molly combo. Makes him start this round at 38 points of HP.
I can kind of tell Betera really want the action to come early, like it did on Mirage. It's obviously a lot easier to force it on Mirage, but I think that they are having to play a bit slower. Nemiga obviously have the protocols in place. Pretty simple on Inferno to keep those rushers at bay. But yeah, really, really interesting that Betera are just very, very restless.
Yeah, you can see Betera just want to fight. It's not always a way to go about it. They have made deep inroads in towards B. And the bomb's going to move over there too. This is better. React at the back of space. And that's where you can bring the bomb with you. It's going to be a full retake. And not an easy retake at all. Flashbang doesn't really do all too much to Lear. They'll continue moving forward. He's spamming. He's getting very close there indeed. Mamet isn't the best gun for the spam though, but They know they're closing towards Coffin, so Betera got to be careful.
It's a little messy. It is a little messy. Cynic's taking the aggressive angle will completely miss those shots. There is a quick move from behind coming in. Super, though, he is known about. Blow on the smoke there. Can he stop the defuse? It doesn't look like it. Does not look like it. And he's on that defuse, bro. He's on that defuse. He's just holding. He's just holding. Nobody's in there to stop him. And yeah, that's kind of unfortunate. A misread of the situation. Lear gets away with the 10-second hold.
And this, you know, sort of brings it back to when we question what happened and what went wrong on Mirage. And you look at it now and say, how did Mirage go wrong? Because this Betera side don't have incredible kind of, you know, I guess like mid and late round understanding. You know, you can see them making very weird decisions. Like we've already touched on, it feels like the calling style is incredibly loose. And maybe they were just plugging it out and it worked out a little bit on Commander 1 and Mirage. But that same sort of style should, in theory, work on Inferno. And at the moment, just getting pulled apart. Nemiga are hunting for this third map. And at the moment, doing everything right to do so.
Again, starts off a little bit slow here, but wanting to stack towards the A side of things. Betera just sort of flitting between the bomb sites. Trying to figure out which one's a bit more vulnerable. They have like these solo moves, and it looks like they're going to go for another one here, right? Masval is backed up by the only flash that remains on the Betera side of things. Cynics trying to force a fight. Knows that it's spammable. Lear will be left a bit low. Might call for cavalry, but not fighting just yet. Nemiga have got a great idea. It's a lovely little flash, even though they don't get the kill. It baits in some fights, you know. Again, Betera always restless, always looking for a scrap. Maybe rightfully so, because they've got a few fraggers here. Khan's still around. Good for one onto the USP, but not fast enough. And it's suddenly a 2v1. When I thought the Nemiga move and the Nemiga setup was really, really nice there, Betera have walked straight in and just blasted the heads.
Yeah, and this is where we go back to that random, puggy style of play. All we can do here is play for X's. I mean, there is some money to work with, but it's not great for Nemiga. There are lost players, of course, built up, so they're actually probably going to have to go in for a bit of a no to low buy, but I can understand sort of why Lear's sticking around here. Any damage that he finds at the end would be huge, but the answer is none. Immediately swung and fine. Owner with 4 kills to his name in that round has put Betera on his back a little bit and gifted them a second. They are still very much in that position that they can vie for a very good T side here. Anywhere near 6 or 7 rounds, you're pretty happy with. But Nemiga still, of course, have a few tricks up their sleeve. It looks like we're going to force buy here as well. So 1M4, 1MP9, 557 and a CZ. It's not great, but potentially salvageable, especially with how Betera have been looking a little worse for wear towards this map so far.
Early spam down from Betera here. Nemiga not really wanting to match them. Not really looking to get aggressive in many of the rounds. It is 3 towards B. Your eyes don't deceive you. There's a boost going on over here. It is quite a nice one. Usually finds a lot of success. This time, not so much. Super, meanwhile, doing what he does in the apartments, taking names. Gives them a 4v3, an awful lot of options now available to Betera.
Well, Tenzi. Smoke down towards long. Gonna pop him in towards short. Here they are. They want to fight. 5-7's in a really tough spot. He hears information about 2, and he'll get 2. Nearly a third as well. Risky Bob once more, but he gets swung upon. Oh, he gets swung upon. Khan also gets caught. And now it's a foot race towards B, which the T side should win.
It's close. It is a little close. I think Lear might get into position here. Maybe, just maybe. Oh, yeah, man. Quarter of a second earlier, he drops that bomb and makes things very, very scary indeed. But Supra detaches his head from his shoulders, and Betera starting to string them together now. The gap closing up.
Let's see. 2 rounds. Should be made 1 round as well, of course. We know there's none of that money to work with for Nemiga. They force what into the previous. It's so close as well, but so far, ultimately. Betera, they're not making it easy for themselves, but they are still doing something. And it's giving us a bit of hope. I mean, showing that they're not completely kind of dying and rolling over here.
Yeah, it's good to see that they can still bring that competition, I think. Betera have been in for a few seasons now. Like I say, they barely survive into this one. I think it was through relegation, and they would have had to, play in relegation rather than moving up from advanced to compete. So it is a little close. And of course, as we've said and as we've noted, and maybe the more shrewd viewers among you might notice that this is not really the team that's listed even. So there's obviously changes that are happening as we speak, maybe. Maybe there's a lot of players in here that are just sort of trialing their way in. Are they here to stay? Don't rightly know. I was kind of excited to get to watch a little bit of Elliot. That was my guy back in the day. Yeah, when I was like a tier 2 commentator during COVID, right? Working all the Elises and stuff like this. He was taking names on that Entropic team and then just seems to have disappeared completely.
Oh, yeah, dude. Back in the day, I was kind of touting him as being sort of this next up AWPer, the one to be breaking towards tier 1, and he had his stint playing in tier 1, and it just never worked out, unfortunately. I'm with you. It was just one of those where he was a bit of a what-if player, but unfortunately, kind of his what-if, he did also get the chance, and it didn't end up working out. But yeah, I'm too. I haven't seen Elliot in a hot minute. I know he's played on a variety of random teams. I remember Boston Crab playing in some of those open quals. They're actually a bit of a scary open qual team, to say the least. Either way, 1 round game here. Betera, without Elian, still looking pretty good.
It's true. Maybe not needed, as at one point he very much was, when we had a bit more roster stability going on in that region. Timeout to come in here from Nemiga now. Of course, they used all their timeouts really quickly on Mirage, if you weren't here for that, and none of them garnered success, so I'm going to not really hype this up too much, but hopefully for them coming into a new rifle round here, got the economy back under wraps, they will be able to bring a bit more. And again, map like Inferno, it feels more tempered for timeouts than Mirage does. You can really change your play up, change the stacks up, maybe what you want to do with nades. Something as simple as that can make a big old difference here. Only the 1 HE, so maybe not looking to stack those in, but a lot of Molotovs here.
Okay, it's just that chance of Betera. Tie this game up. Give themselves a chance at recovering what was a very poor start, no two ways about it. Make something of this. A couple of pop shots being taken in towards mid by Ona, just through that smoke and hoping for a bit of a chance. We know that Betera have been actually doing a pretty good job with playing around with the sort of the tempo and the timings, and it is actually catching Nemiga off guard at times. So I am liking what I'm seeing. They're making things just a little bit uncomfortable, and that alone is sort of sowing the seeds of doubt.
Yeah, I mean, that very much is their MO, really. Just keep things stacked up, and then, as you say, could call it slightly cheesy. Changes in pace. Flash is good, but not great. Which ends up being a 2-for-1 in favor of Betera. Make it 3-for-1 as they clear out the B-bomb site here. Should be their round now. And I don't know, maybe Betera are just very, very ready for this one, because that looked like it was a telegraphed kind of protocol from Nemiga. Maybe it comes after the timeout. It's one of the things you can often chat about is like, what are we changing here? We need to be a bit more proactive. We need to get in their face, be braver. And Betera, they get, I think, 1, maybe 2 nades out. I think it was like a smoke and a flash went into the B-bomb site, and then they sat and they were like, they're going to come at us, so we should just wait for that.
Zwine can't. It should be okay to save it. There's a little look in, actually, though. Cynics and Supra do want to see what they can find. I mean, even just 1 kill alone puts so much pressure on them. Molotov down, but it's why he actually survives that first fight. He might be in a bit of trouble. They're dropping down onto him, and the cross here was there, but the clock saves his life. 5-all though, Betera tied this game back up 4 rounds in a row. It's good to see. And actually, in all fairness, while the first couple of rounds they picked up for Betera were a little scrappy, not super convincing, these last few have actually kind of once again reignited the flame in me, thinking that this Betera side have got just something about them.
Yeah, man, for sure. And I think maybe it is that freedom and the individuality that they've got going on. Supra for a double kill. Can't get the third. Ooh, and he's actually lost a couple of teammates. So in the end, the aggression kind of works. There goes another one in Banana. This is all a bit weird. Owner, edge of the smoke, lands the no scope, and the second. That one's much nicer. Lovely finds from him. And Xanta's oh, way not messing around, and it doesn't come up. That was a no scope.
That was.
He might have just clicked the right mouse button, but that was definitely a no scope.
Who needs Alien? Owner's 15 and 5. What a round from him. What a round. Betera, at the bare minimum, tied up this game. I said if they can get 6, I'd be super happy. I'm very happy. It's the fashion at which they're getting them as well. And look at what Nemiga are bringing to the table here. We've got an behind on a FAMAS having to be brought up because they need a bit of util. This is a tough predicament. The lengths at which Nemiga have fallen off, not only in this series, but even in this map specifically, is just wild.
Yeah, absolutely, and it really could be problematic. I mean, you get that fresh restart. We've probably talked about them needing that, wanting that 3 or 4 times throughout this series now, so second half going to have to be very, very different, and it was where it felt like there were a few more issues on the Betera side, was their CT end. Maybe a bit too overconfident. It can work on the T side, but not so much the CT side. A little bit off here. These two players in Banana, they might both go down. They do indeed. So some nice finds for Nemiga.
All right, something to work with. Not an easy round to make work. The Super want to fight here. He does. That's why I don't know if we needed to take that engagement. It works against them. And of course now, maybe just a bit of an opportunity to work with. Also, you know, the bomb is far from committed towards A. Despite there being now 3 players here, the bomb could still go B. It's only just been picked up from ramp.
It is going to go A. So these next couple of moments could be round defining. Tenzi making a lot of noise here. It's a patient play from Xanta. Calls for a flash and he gets it. So that really bolsters their position now. I think they'll be fairly comfortable. Owner with the attempt on the Molotov doesn't happen for him, and yeah, desperate there at the end from the Betera boys. 6-6. I mean, there was a steep fall off for Nemiga, of course, but maybe they've done enough here to keep things competitive in this series. We'll find out soon.
All right, we are back. Again, another pretty weird half. It started so well for Nemiga. 5-on-up, we were loving life in the server, and then they just slightly capitulated. Thankfully, got that final round of the half to make it an even affair. But, you know, for me, the way that the wins are kind of blowing right now, it feels pretty good for Betera, and that's going to help. Very much so. Xanta gets absolutely deleted.
Looking for a bit more towards middle here as well. It is Supra to chime in. Of course, where else but the apartments? This guy's been an absolute menace in there. So only 3 remaining now on this T side of things. Nice find from Risky Bob. Might just get them back into a decent position. It's a tiny bit of control in apps. What can they really do with it at the moment? Betera not biting either. They're staying in the 2-2 setup, not immediately rotating a player across. They think that Nemiga might go for a bigger move here. And I suppose there's potential via long into CT, but it does look to me that they want to stick with the A side.
Let's see. Here, with the bomb on the back of Khan, are wrapping their way in towards B. They're going to have to fight past 2, so it's a 2-2 split, and Risky Bob is going to just try and sell a bit of the ruse here. If Risky Bob can take a fight now, basically, he probably maybe pulls these guys out of position a little bit. However, they're making steps. That's not going to help. Oh, so Nate's missed his opportunity. He's very much missed his opportunity. The rotate's happening. This is so weird. We're out of ammo. We're all missing. Nobody's connecting shots. What is happening? Risky Bob's going to go down. Everybody is missing at the moment. And they're going back towards the bomb, which is dropped towards CT. No time. That's it. Khan, just make sure you don't die off the time. I think it's the main thing now. 2 seconds, 1 second. Now we fight, and he will survive. Both of them. So aside from relief, he dies anyway. Oh, it's just
live it, mate. Just get it lived.
So painful. So painful. What a bad round from Nemiga.
Holy hell. Oh, my goodness. That kind of sums it up a little bit, that they're just not on point, you know. Maybe been a long day. That's usually something we check a little bit. Have they been playing loads of games today? Not quite sure, but it does feel that, you know, they're just cold, maybe, or fatigued. Not quite sure what the reasoning would be, but the aim, the mechanics, not as high as we would usually expect from these guys. And it's the big man that we pointed out.
Yeah.
He must have got a little bit nervous on stage, as Vi is once again quite substantially towards the bottom end of the scoreboard.
They actually haven't. They haven't played a game since Blast Bounty, interesting enough. And that was, we're looking at 6 days ago now. So it's showing. It looks like a team who haven't played in 6 days. I'm assuming they must have had their pracs, of course, but it doesn't feel like it. MP9's going to get a lot of money in the bank there. As Betera extend this to a 2-round lead. Oh, Nemiga, we are in trouble here. If we lose this bye, I would not be surprised if we lose the map.
Yes, indeed. It is starting to spiral quickly, and just the way in which these early rounds of this second half have unraveled for Nemiga is not good. This is a cheeky one, though, from Betera, sticking with the 4 MP9s. Feel like, you know, sure, overspending, economy, all this kind of stuff, but maybe just like 1 rifle. It really limits your choices, I feel. Masval brave for the move. Will be an opener from Owner. Who else? And, well, Masval, it pays off, but with an M4, does he find that kill? Either way, he should have had it for sure. 4-on-4 ensuing. Little worse for wear on the Nemiga side.
Okay. Very weird so far, but at the same time for Betera, even if they lose this round, if they get like 3 kills, they're probably relatively happy. The only thing they want to make sure is that they just to keep that AWP in play. Oda had a fantastic first half with the AWP. The no-scopes, that 3K was one of the wilder rounds, but this one, I think he might just wait for a bit of support here. He's all alone towards B, and then they come.
Owner playing confidently.
Wow.
Spots the first. Clicks in the crosshair. Nice and easy. Smoke is hella deep. Nemiga again with another blunder, but it does draw him forwards and maybe biting off a bit too much. The AKs coming up large, winning all their fights across the map. And Betera again in, you know, a decent enough position. I just feel maybe we should have had another rifle or so.
Agreed.
And you can see where the money is at. It's not like they save loads and loads now because of it. So, yeah, very, very strange situation.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, yeah, you could just see they really wanted to fight. I just think for Owner, even right there, getting one kill and just tucking your head, I think is actually a really good way to play it. But he doesn't. He goes for more, and he tries to get that second behind it. And of course, especially with that deep smoke that you touched on, kind of slightly missing over towards Coffins, they're obviously going to be holding for that. And he just gets completely deleted. Risky Bob is spamming. We're a little bit asleep here, but thankfully a quick trade. And there actually is a recoverable AK if Owner wanted. But he's going to stick with the M4.
Slow creep up Banana. It has quietened way down. Betera not giving any peeks it. Oh, a little bit of a drop noise. Just got to be careful. Yeah, Xanta's looking for the spam. Lands maybe one bullet there. But could quite easily have been a headshot. He just also doesn't want to give the game away of like what's going on. Where are they putting most of their resources? They will begin the move towards A, and a quick rotation here from Masval could be a good read.
What's the play? It does. Oh, that swing out. They do actually spot Khan in towards Cubby, and they're going to try and fight him. Jumping 5-7 should do the job, and it will. 4v3. This is looking a little weird, but one court tracking back, bomb down. And the time's starting to tick. We've got 30 seconds to work with here.
Oh no. Holding in a pretty pivotal spot. He does kind of slow them down a little. It maybe needed the kill to come in from Masval, unfortunately. So Nemiga really looking good here on the T side. Betera just can't quite get their claws in these rifle rounds. Again, the econ is a bit of a question, but yeah, trying to make late round plays doesn't quite happen for them. Again, bit deer in headlights, it feels like, from Betera in some of these moments.
I think you're exactly right. Xanta just looking around just in case, but he'll support Lear as he scoops up the AWP. They should be okay, but they are sort of going. Hang on a moment. Oh, he gets the no-scope. Oh, Cynics, that's so unfortunate. Lear was low as well. He had 22 points of HP, and he only tags him once for 12, so that's got to hurt a little bit. Nemiga tied the game back up, and we, as much as it really doesn't feel like it, there is actually a game brewing here. It's been, you know, pretty incredibly odd in terms of how things have been panning out, and neither side have been looking good in terms of momentum, but I guess momentum, Nemiga don't really care as long as they've now tied the game up, and they should take a lead without really having to work for it too hard.
They are starting so quiet these rounds, though. There's really not much matching from the CT side. Obviously, you know, on a stack like this, you wouldn't expect it, but both teams with their rifles have just not gone mega aggressive. I like the stack, though. It's a cool idea around this corner. It is AKs across the board, so could come away with a decent frag hit. Maybe a bit more. Whoa, there's a team kill in there, but it's all good. Zvi just holds Mouse 1 to clean up the bomb site. Maybe a little recklessly. All the same, that should be the round. It's just Tenzi, of course, 1 versus 3. I think he will look to sneak in and get his hands on an AK.
You're right. If he can, that'd be nice. Play for the exits. That kind of vibe. For Tenzi. He's just going to sit in towards half wall. Lear, he's got a sneaking suspicion. Honestly, a couple of kills already is not bad. Any more towards the end would be lovely, but it's not to be. Swing for Tenzi, and Lear was ready for that. Okay. 9 taken for Nemiga. They take a lead and now do have something to fall back on. That already starts to feel like there's maybe something brewing here about our third map of Ancient, despite it being incredibly scrappy.
Okay, let's see. Betera, as you say, starting to get to sort of panic stations for them. They are going to have to figure this. It a decent buy, right? So that's no real excuse. Nemiga looking to completely change things up here. A very fast run in towards Banana. I think they were ready to take some fights if they'd come. A quick boost up on the half wall and everything. But they don't. Meanwhile, Betera pretty dead set on this A setup, which would, of course, be the incorrect call. Smoke comes in. I don't know whether it'll necessarily keep them at bay. Surely we've got to get a rotation across here. But Betera really banking on A, and they've read it well. Nemiga, it does seem to be a fake in the end.
Yeah, what's the player? Super. Posted up on towards the top of the balcony. He has one playing anti. Owner just on the edge of that smoke. And then with Tenty down below, this is a mean mid setup. That information will be heard as well. They'll know there's a long play, but that actually kind of works into the plan a little bit. This could actually get really ugly for Nemiga here.
Oh, Supra, so blind, man. There's got to be trades here. Oh, the damage is big. Cynics is going to have to do a lot. He certainly could, though. He certainly could. Hiding out in the pit. His teammate joining him, but not in time. He won't get checked initially. In comes the lower HP, but eventually traded out. Surely 2v1 is enough to work with Masval moving through from mid. They don't expect him from here. He's only got this MP9, though. So there's positives and negatives to this play. Got a kit as well. Slipping underneath. They will now start to check him out a little bit. My goodness, has he been seen there? Not quite sure. He rolls in quickly, but the AWP picks him out of the air. And Betera, despite being in the right place and having the right read, just cannot land the frags. Nemiga roll them over again.
Yeah, it's tough. And now we are running out of time. There should be an 11th here for Nemiga. We should be essentially now starting to avert our eyes towards Ancient, unless Betera somehow dig themselves out of this tough spot. But again, I think this is where these, slight CT woes are coming through. The CT wasn't brilliant on Mirage. They just got bailed out by a really strong T side. The problem that we find ourselves in now is that they're not giving themselves a lot of time to get back in towards this game. This is tough. We've got an MP9, a couple of upgraded pistols. Owner going with nothing as he wants to have some money for AWP. At the very least, though, we've quad stacked towards the B side, so that's at least something to work with.
Okay. Nice find from Cynics early on. They try and sell it even harder this time around on the Nemiga end. And again, just playing those mind games. Are they moving back towards A? Coming B again. Betera, one of the things about them, I suppose, that, maybe as you play them more and more, you might be able to get a grip on, is that they really do like to stick with their initial idea and just not give in to the mind games of a map like Inferno. They will rotate one across, but ultimately still ready for a B hit.
Goes quiet, though, doesn't it? 50 seconds. And we'll just replenish that smoke in towards B. Masval feels slightly tempted to rotate back over. He dipped in towards brackets for a moment there. But he might just wait for the smoke to fade first. I think as this one smoke towards CT comes over, this might coax him back over. But even still, there's 3 players here for this fight, and they are ready for it. Leah can't do well to start things off, and that is a fantastic executing towards B. That is the round. I mean, the pistols may as well go and have a look. I mean, maybe not Tenzi. I mean, he actually isn't exactly financially brilliant, but that's why I don't buy the CZ, ladies and gents. Especially when the 5.7 and Tech 9 are so good. Especially, well, the 5.7 in particular. 11-8. Nemiga looking for that third map, looking for Ancient, looking to recover this series, which was potentially feeling quite out of hand.
Yeah, I think so. And I mean, they really are just showing their ability here on the Nemiga side of things, right? And that depth that they do have, it was severely missing from Mirage. But here they are looking a hell of a lot better, and I think that is, a key thing to really consider, is that Nemiga do have this level to them. They've moved on to the T side. They can work the game a hell of a lot more from this T side, and it's exactly what they're doing. Great mix-ups. Great aggression. This time maybe not so much. Khan's there with the trade back, so still keeping the numbers even.
Hang on. I know what's playing behind the smoke. He's waiting for a push out. That bullet didn't actually go too far away there. Smoke comes down. This was from the T side that goes in front. For a long time, that was called the Fnatic smoke. It gives you a bit of a chance to lurk out. Supra, he's got the right idea, but Zwei is now posted. He wants this fight. He's definitely picked up his form as well, Zwei. From really struggling. But he gets caught. Just quick switching there is enough to give an opportunity for Supra. And he does well for 2. Has the support of Cynics, and that is the round. But Betera aren't dead just yet.
Once again, the master of the apartments comes alive and gives them a lifeline, potentially. Khan's already picked up a pretty important clutch in this series, so he'll be looking for another. And he has successfully got this bomb planted. Maybe against the odds, he feels like. Can't quite believe how open it is. He's going to take the wide face, tries to get that early fight in, of course, play for the clutch, etc. Owner's already there, so Betera will see it off pretty quickly. Could be something. Could be something. That's a pretty decisive kind of round coming in from them, actually.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the one thing, they probably would have liked to have denied that bomb plant, but at the same time, the Nemiga are flush for cash, so I guess it probably doesn't make too big of a difference. 2 rounds in it. Still not dead just yet, Betera, but I'm still not convinced by any means about their CT side at the moment. They quite consistently make life hard for themselves. Buy back in. Khan in towards the end of repeat. He's having a nice couple of moments, and they really need Khan as well, just because of how confident Owner's been playing and how well he's been doing. You actually need somebody to be able to put a bit of pressure on him at range. That's up. As he throws a Molotov, he needs to be careful here. He's going to flash on the corner, and anti-flash from Xanta not good enough. As Xanta's really been struggling for me. He's dying a lot in the early rounds.
It is a little problematic. Nemiga's kind of tactic of pressing the attack is not really working as well for them now. Still potential to get back in, and when, you know, Risky Bob is in the situation, you feel like it can always be done. The 4-man mid-stack has been a little popular for Betera and actually not really worked out all that much. They get flanked out, they get pressed from different angles, and it's well moved here from Owner, though. Look at this. He's in behind. Khan has a tiny idea. Maybe heard a step. Maybe someone fed him that information. Big find there. I thought Owner was surely going to bring it down to a 3 versus 1, but not the case. So to save the game here, it is Tensi and Masval. Decent damage onto Khan. Can't quite finish him. The nade goes in. Again, tiny bit of damage, but not really all that much. They've both got kits available. Good find from Tensi. Deal with that AWP, make life easier. Lear reveals himself, but Tensi is there to immediately get that trade and keep this dream alive.
We are still cooking a little bit. This game is still alive, at least for the time being. 1 round the difference now. Money's still not dried up for Nemiga, so they're fine, especially those bomb plants as well. Keep them afloat. I don't think they're really going to have any financial woes, even if this was to go the full distance. But still, I like what I see. Only 1 round in it, and you start to believe just a little bit. Xanta going to go in towards a Mach 10 for him. Like I said, he's been really struggling to get going in these opening duels, and it started obviously become quite costly. Just take a look for it now. For him, he's 2 and 4 in opening engagements. Not great. I mean, Lear's 1 of 5. That's actually worse for him. Those nades are pretty bad for Nemiga. They get peppered down.
Yeah, really big damage here, of course. Betera looking to become the controllers of this game once again. We really do have a full-on map of Inferno now to get through. Nemiga, against some of the bigger teams, this is where they would have those explosive moments, you know, the rounds that catch you off when it's on a bit of a lower buy, but you've still got the AKs in there, so hoping that they can do that here. Northern coming off the back of this boost, though.
I wonder what's the play here. What is the idea? Are we going to make this sort of a round stick? Well, smoke goes down again. Lear's boosted up above it, but it doesn't look like Sinise wants to fight just yet. It looks like he's got U2 on hand there, so a pop flash being set up Might be the play. He's waiting as well. That coffin smoke missed again. That one went too far short this time. So someone's got to fix that coffin smoke, that's for sure.
Oh. Leah, got to be careful here. Cynics comes in with some big damage. Really big damage indeed. I mean, the move forwards is not awful from Nemiga. There's team damage that comes in. This is a mess. However, Khan's found 2 in all this chaos. Zanza getting the bomb down with only 10 HP. Owner doesn't want to go anywhere near it. He had a nade. Could have cancelled it with the bank shot off the wall. But he just plays super, super safe behind the pillar. His low HP Xanta can't connect the bullets. It's all on to Khan, looking for the ace here, and he's denied. He does his best to bring his team through that round, but it is not enough.
Oh my, we are still talking about the comeback and the recovery, which never even should have been a conversation again, is the other thing. I mean, this is a side who looked sort of dead and buried, right? And you know, the feeling that we've got now is that there is something pretty malicious brewing. Again, a bomb block comes through, but I think this time, actually, that money will dry up enough. Just because the kills have been, at times, a little bit few and far between. And they haven't been able to sort of break things up in this Betera recovery. So 11 all. At least we guarantee the full 24. And I feel like Nemiga might be hoping for a little bit more as well. Because, honestly, them trying to get this sorted sort of here and now feels unlikely. Nice shot. Owner. Look at the form this guy is on. 28 and 13. 108 ADR is insane.
Risky Bob. Up close and personal with the Tech 9. Flash comes in. It's pretty good. We'll force them back so they get that bracket's control. They're still moving into 4 players. Very, very scary stuff. One of them, of course, the big man Owner. This could get messy.
What is the play here? We've taken the molly. We've got to be a little careful. Oh, there he is again. And he has support now of a rifle as well. So even if he was to fall, which he isn't, there would have been a trade. Owner up to 30 now. What a showing. Cynics will finally get his. As Lear falls. And Zwei, our player to watch in this game is... We've not had a lot to watch, unfortunately. Yes, he's picked it up a little bit, but he's still 14 and 16. And about to be probably 14 and 17. I don't see a world in which he gets a kill here, surely of how low he is. And that's the case.
Indeed. Yeah, you are clairvoyant, sir.
What can I say?
Well, I mean, you could give us who do you reckon's going to win? Or are we
Betera. Betera win it.
Yeah.
With an Owner 3k. That's like...
Okay.
That's what the spirits
we're
are
about
saying.
to see, mate. We're about to see, and then maybe after this, you know, you might get a little bit of a lucky lottery ticket. You might get some angry people in your DMs. Maybe.
The best guy, actually.
Well, indeed.
But he's one of those where, you know, now for Nemiga, they don't have Khan in towards AWP. And Khan has been doing great work with the AWP. It's now the fact that he just didn't financially have the facilities to be able to sort of go toe-to-toe in those long-range duels. And look at the confidence. Supra will start off with one of his own. Flash going to come down. It doesn't really do too much of a difference. Supra wants to fight here. He plays anti for the first and actually swings into his demise. As Xanta finally does something well for himself as he gets 2.
It's dangerous. Very, very dangerous indeed. Tenzi also nearly going down around the corner. I think it was actually a T-molly that keeps him at bay, but the rotations are in quick and they're just not ready for them. Angles covered off. Suddenly a 2 versus 1 where it was looking good for just a moment. Nemiga nearly battled back in, but it's on to Leah, the old guard, to keep this dream alive, take us to the overtime. He's punching in the digits. He's committing, and they are after him. Down he will go, and Betera mounts it. Betera get it done. They win it out 2-0, and they pull off the comeback from 11-8 all the way up to 13-11. So very well done from them under the pressure, and I think certainly going to maybe stick with this roster for the rest of the season, but at the very least they have opened a few eyes here this evening with their performance against Nemiga.
Absolutely wild scenes as well.